It's time for the Dr. Tongie Show.
Hey, you're on the air with Dr. Tongie. Talk to me.
As soon as I hear your voice, Dr. Tongie, my day is better.
Hey, Dr. Tongie. I took your advice and made some changes in my life. And you know what? I've been winning ever since. Thank you for your advice.
Now, here's Dr. Tongie.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to the show that was created to motivate, to inspire, and to assist you in getting in life where you are now to where you want to be. Thank you so very much for joining us, and Happy New Year, even though we are 16 days in. How about that? I do hope this year is starting out to be one of the best for you. My girl's back in the house. Woo-hoo. Yep. Did you guys miss her as much as I missed her? Oh my God.
Stop.
And she had me doing this by myself. Shame on you. Well, now, before we get started with this wonderful person that we have in the studio, and we'll bring her on shortly, we'll also have a segment where we ask, how did I get here? Well, take all of your DMs and all of that good stuff and kind of shed some light onto where you are, and where you are needing assistance with where you want to be. But I want to start off by saying, because for me, an understanding is so very, very important. And when I said that the Dr. Tongie Show is about kingdom principles, I don't want there to be any assumptions of, okay, now I think I know what she's talking about, but I'm not really sure. The kingdom that I am talking about is a place that exists, and it is invisible, and it is a place where the government of that particular place takes care of everything that you have need of. It is not a religion. It is not religious. It is a systematic way, a systematic approach of doing things that you know you were supposed to be doing. You have that burning desire as a child, and you're thinking, one day when I grow up, I want to. And then life happens. And then you find yourself trying to be disciplined or trying to use those keys or principles that you know exist because he did it and she did it. But then you want to know, how do I do it? How do I get from here to there? And if you're fortunate enough, you have people that'll come back and say, hey, I'll show you exactly how to do it. Or come, hey, I'm selling this book. And in this book, I've got some principles. I've bought so many books. We don't buy them like that anymore, but they're bona fide disciplines that do work. And I want it to be all inclusive. So it does not matter where you are. It does not matter where you were born or what you may be doing right now. What matters is you matter. You've got a gift or gifts. You have dreams and aspirations. If I can assist you in any way, then you better believe it's done. And I kid you not. So that's what the kingdom is. The kingdom principles, those principles are disciplines. It is a systematic way that you're going to do something. Let's say, for instance, you believe the inscription that says, be fruitful, multiply, have dominion, be fruitful, multiply, replenish, and have dominion. Subdue and have dominion. And you say, well, I'm not really sure. Are you talking about have more children? Nope, that's not what I'm talking. And that's not what he was talking either. The fruitful part of that particular kingdom principle is for you to get your product. What is your gift that you're supposed to share with us? What gift? That's your product. That's your fruit that you're going to share. Your multiplication comes into play when you're going to over and over and over again with your product, get it where it's ready for market. Now you're multiplying. Your replenish is your distribution. Now, you've got a product, you've got it ready for market, you've got everything ready for your product to go. You now will, let's say, get a distributor. that distributor will buy into your gift that you're sharing with us and say, hey, I'll give you 30-day net. 30-day net is basically you don't owe me anything up front until I do what I tell you I'm going to do. That's your replenish, your distribution. Your subduing is your mind is so large that you're now thinking, hopefully, global. And you're saying, okay, I did it in LA. Now I'm ready for New Orleans. Now I'm ready for New York. Now I'm ready. That's how you're going to get your gift, and it will bring you before great men and make certain that the expansion is there. With that being said, I had to make certain that that was something that we were all kind of on the same page. So when we introduce guests to you, these are guests that have a vision. These are guests that said, you know what? Come hell or high water, I'm going to do this. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't even know what it looked like, but I got to get it done. And then sometimes a lot of sacrifices go into that. You find yourself maybe not eating or maybe doing some of the extracurricular activities at home, like Netflix and cable and all the other, streaming services out there. But you're putting your plan into motion. You believe in yourself. And then the next thing you know, you're ready for launching. Those are the guests that we have been able to tell their story. And this next guest is no different. She is an amazingly talented woman. Not only is she absolutely gorgeous, and I know you're looking at her, she's absolutely stunning, but she's smart and she's intelligent, and she just won't take no for an answer. And she believes not only in herself, but she believes in her God. How about that? And she's unashamed to tell it. And just piquing her interest a few minutes ago, I'm listening to her and I'm thinking, what a blessing this woman is. And without further ado, I will do the introduction to Miss Jessica Lynn Diaz.
Hello. Absolutely. Doing a lot. Yes. And I mean, Dr. Tongie, incredible intro, but I think about women, the turbulence in Hollywood, and I was excited you were coming because of the breakthrough that is necessary, that is happening, and that you've been doing, not only as a producer, photographer, director, in this amazing project that is premiering in Hollywood this weekend, Chinese Theater, about a subject that has turned Hollywood inside out, from just a lethal culture that has been going on forever. So please talk about the project. Why? You could be doing a lot of things, Jess, here in LA, but you've decided to do this project. Make sure it is screened and seen and promoted. So could you talk about the project and its very impactful theme?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So my short film will be showing, like you said, at the TCL Chinese Theater this Saturday at 2:30 p.m. And it is called You're So Beautiful. It is a film that really speaks to the progression of domestic violence in a relationship. How it can go from such an amazingly beautiful relationship where this man or woman makes you feel beautiful, and I got that inspiration and idea from my past. I was in an abusive relationship for 6 years, and it really took a toll on me when I was going through it, I appreciate you guys saying that I'm beautiful, because back then I, for some reason, did not feel beautiful, and this man was one of the first people in my life to really make me feel beautiful and then make me feel so not beautiful at the same time. And with that, like I said, I was in it for 6 years. I got out of it all because of God. And I was living in Florida at the time, and I moved back out here to California, where I'm originally from. And I wanted so badly to do something to shed awareness on, this idea of abuse. And I just didn't know how I was going to do it. For maybe 2-3 years, I was like, I need to do something. Every October would pass by, because that's Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And I'm like, I need to do something. What am I going to do? So last year, in September, one morning, I just was like, I need to do something, And I looked at my list of film ideas that I had, and domestic violence was on there. And it's like, when I read it, it's like God was like, boom, he gave me the download, and I just started writing, and I came up with the short film right then and there. And
I've never done this before. Never.
No, not on this type of topic, never. And I had like my dream cast, Dakia Anderson and Borge Etienne.
Hey, yeah.
They're amazing. Amazing. They literally brought my vision to life.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And how were you able to assemble your cast, not having big budgets and, credits behind you? What was that challenge like?
Well, I knew both Dakia and Borge. I knew Borge actually from college, and he moved out here like mid last year, and we just ended up in the same agency. So we kind of reconnected in that way. And then Dakia I met through a close friend that same summer. So it was like God was placing these people, in front of me. And I reached out to them because of the message and just the connection that we both shared. They were all on board.
So it was relationships you already had and nurtured.
Yes.
It wasn't anything, a typical casting and things like that, relationships that were already in your life.
Exactly. Yeah.
Amazing.
Absolutely.
And you mentioned that you were in this relationship for 6 years. That's a long time.
It was a long time.
That's a lot of your life invested.
Oh, it was.
What was the turning point for you to say enough is enough? What was that time, moment, situation where, because obviously, like I said, after your mindset goes through that over and over again, you get stuck.
Yeah.
What pushed you through?
So it's interesting, in the film, I kind of play on the fact that we are in these high moments with this partner that we're with, and then it's like random moments of abuse. It's not every day. Like, I think a lot of people, especially myself, I didn't think I was being abused because it wasn't every day. It might not have even been every week, but it was like random moments that it did happen. And one moment is never okay. You know what I'm saying? So, for me, after these 6 years, we actually got married at the 6-year mark. And 2 months after the marriage, or into the marriage, I should say, there was a moment where he was being abusive to me, and I really do feel like God told me for the first time, look directly into his eyes as he was doing it. I looked into his eyes, and it was like there was nothing there. It was like lifeless. Like, this wasn't nothing to him, And I was like, oh, wow. And I called my dad. I hadn't told anybody in my family. And I knew calling my dad.
You know.
You know what I'm saying?
And I'm a daddy's girl, too. So as soon as you said your dad right now, I was like,
yeah.
You called dad.
I'm a daddy's girl,
know.
too. Yeah. And as soon as I knew, as soon as I dialed his number, it was a wrap. So, that's what got me out of it, is me looking into his eyes and just seeing, like, there was no emotion there.
Was there ever a moment, Jessica Lynn Diaz, was there ever a moment where you thought, maybe it'll get better? Maybe if I just do this, or maybe if I do that, and I will marry and it'll get better?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I had plenty of moments like that.
Okay.
Okay. We went to therapy. We obviously got married. I thought that was for some reason going to change something.
And most people
a lot
do.
of people think that, and it just makes it even worse, honestly.
Right.
Because as soon as that happened, I felt like he believed that I was now his property.
Thinking exactly that. Absolutely.
Actually, that day that I called my dad, he came over to where we were living to, just help me get some of my things. And I'll never forget, my dad said something like, that's my daughter.
Right.
And he actually said, that's my wife. Like, he trumped that,
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I feel like
Okay.
it won't get better, unfortunately. You think it will, and it just won't.
Right.
You have to separate yourself from that environment, not just for your health and safety, but also for their health and safety.
Okay.
Because they need that strong person to leave them so that they can see that they do need the help that they need.
Absolutely.
I agree. And I pray to this day that he's gotten that help. And I believe he might have,
Wow.
I'm not in contact with him.
Wow.
But I think that moment probably helped
and what
for
a
both of
mature
us.
and beautiful
I'm thinking the exact
testimony
same thing.
to say
Oh,
when
absolutely.
you can evolve
Jeannie.
and still have that compassion.
Oh, jeez.
And, like you said, one of the things that strikes me about your story is, except for somebody to know the love you have for your parent and to challenge him, a man to challenge somebody's daughter when this is a person you ask for their hand in marriage, you gotta know, like, wow, so you're stepping over that.
That was definitely a wild moment.
While you were dating, did you see these? And of course, what are his relationships with mom or previous women? Did you know?
I didn't know. He was very close with his mom, but I didn't know. To me, it was just random, It mainly happened, this is when I was like 19, 20, 21. So it would happen a lot when we would go out and drink with friends. Drinking was a huge thing. But it also did happen without the drinking, so.
I see.
It's no excuse, like you said.
No.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Wow.
Wow, look at you now. How about that? I mentioned, or I asked rather, just kind of haphazardly, did you ever think that this would be your new or your normal?
I did not. At least not when I was in it. When you're in it, you're just like, how am I ever going to even get out of this?
Right.
Let alone where I am right now.
Right.
And once I did get out of it, though, there was no
power.
stopping me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like, I'm out of this. And I feel like I had to go through that.
Oh, absolutely.
I had to.
Absolutely.
I had to go through that to understand not only my worth, but what I can bring to others.
Wow. So the duality there is not only my worth, but what I could bring to others. You were willing to say, you know what? As crazy as this sounds, I know it's not about me. It's about her, or it's about him that I will be able to share this story with. In your making of this beautiful film, was there ever parts of that 6 year that you said, you know what, I don't want to share that. No, I'm not going to share that. Or did you say, you know what, it's all out there. If this is going to help someone, it's all out there. What was your mode of operandi for that?
Yeah, the film is a short film, so it's only 6 minutes.
Okay.
So I couldn't fit, everything that I wanted to fit in there. But I feel like this is my first step,
Absolutely.
And in it, I do feel like a lot of it I took not directly from my relationship, but it was definitely influenced from it.
Okay.
So there are moments like when I've watched it and I get chills sometimes because I'm like, whoa, I went through this, And although the moments aren't verbatim of what I went through, there's still moments that happen to me. The type of abuse that you'll see in the film, I experienced.
Okay.
Not all of it is shown, but the ones that you do see, I actually did experience.
Wow, Jessica.
So for me, when I watch it, it's like, whoa, But it feels great because I'm like, I'm going to help people. And that's all I want to do.
Absolutely.
That's all I want to do.
Just imagine, I mean, your platform, your craft is changing the world and healing.
Absolutely.
And so many of us go through it, and it's amazing just sitting down, whether you're at the airport, at a happy hour, how many people experience abuse and never mention it.
Yeah.
That's what blows me away. I mean, it happens to me all the time. Somebody will just say, I've never talked about it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why? Like, never. They're like, no, I've never told anyone.
Yeah.
And
That was
so
me.
that is why I'm so grateful to your project, for you, because it needs to happen more often. I'm so glad that you mentioned Domestic Violence Month, but I'm a big advocate of, but what about after that month? I'm glad you're doing this in January. So
Yeah.
what's going to happen in February, March, April? So this is exactly why I thought it was important. As much as I wanted to wait with you, I said no. God was like, no, right now,
Yeah.
the premiere is coming. We need to talk about it as many times, as many outlets, because there's somebody sitting watching us right now, listening to this tomorrow, a month from now, 6 months from now, that it will save a life.
Yeah.
Yes.
So thank you for
you.
that. And if you want to interact right now, Jessica Lynn Harris, Dr. Tongie, social media at Dr. Tongie. I'm here on the social media, Kitty of the City right now. So anything you have, if you want to call in, any questions, we are open. Let me ask you before we go to, actually, there is Donna in Baltimore already who has a comment to you, Jessica Lynn Diaz. What was the darkest or the most painful for you to direct during this project? What was the most challenging part filming this?
As far as the domestic violence aspect of it, I would say kind of reliving those moments. You know, I don't want to give anything away, but you know, one of the last scenes is just one of the biggest abuse moments in the film, and that was probably, even though I had been through a lot of different moments with my ex, that was one moment that really like shook me. So directing that particular scene was definitely a lot.
Right.
You know, as a filmmaker, one of the most difficult aspects of filming this was probably just getting everybody's schedules to align.
Okay.
Because we're all working actors and directors and, you know, everything out here. You do it all out here, you know. So just getting all of our schedules to align, because there was 13 different scenes that we shot.
Wow.
In like all different locations.
Oh, I love it.
So just getting all of our schedules to align was probably like the hardest part.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it all worked out.
It all worked out.
It all worked out.
And it always does.
Yes, it does.
Absolutely. Man.
Well, we have Donna in Baltimore who did send a DM, and I even inquired about exactly where her abuse took place. And again, she's in Baltimore. She says she loves listening to the Dr. Tongie show. It's helped her out, and she's like, this will be like her New Year's gift, because she almost didn't catch today's show, but when she heard the introduction of Jessica Lynn Diaz, she was like, oh, this one's for me. This particular episode is for me. And that's because she has been abused, and she said by the very people who were supposed to protect me. She said it was the police. She was in a club having a great time and maybe too much fun, a bit more intoxicated than normal. And the two people that she came with apparently left because she was enjoying the company of a gentleman dancing at the club until it closed. When she went to look for the friend she came with, she noticed she didn't have her purse or cell to call an Uber. She stumbled over to a police officer. At that time, the officer and his partner offered to take me home. Didn't realize it would be the worst ride of my life because they raped and continuously abused me. And she said until this time, nobody from police, family, friends believe her. They believe it was the blame of intoxication. Well, if you came with somebody, why did you leave with them? Why would they just leave you? And, she was like, what are you talking about? So her question was to you, Jessica Lynn Diaz, when you are faced with needing help, but the doors are constantly closed to believing, how do you begin to heal when backs are turned, and how is someone to see your project if they can't be in LA this weekend?
Great question, and I'm so sorry that you went through that. I actually had a friend that went through the same thing with police, so injustice is real. Now, I can actually say I experienced firsthand people not believing me. It was definitely one of the worst feelings.
Right.
You know, I finally had the braveness to come out and say something, and I had a lot of close friends that did not believe me.
I see.
We had mutual friends, but it wasn't even like just, I guess you would say, his friends that didn't believe me. It was like mutual friends, or even like close friends that were just my friends.
Right.
And wow, I was.
Why would you make up something like that as your, underlining question?
And it was just, I couldn't understand somebody not believing because of X, Y, and Z.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
But what I've learned and what got me through it is God.
Okay.
I am so thankful that I went through this because I got so close to God when I got out of it. I was reading the Bible like all the time, just different passages, quotes. And what I really learned is it's faith over facts. You know what I'm saying?
Every time.
Every time.
Faith over facts. Hashtag that.
Yes.
Wow.
Because it's like, why would you get married if you were being abused? Why would you? And it's like, you don't know what I was going through. You weren't inside of my mind.
Right.
God told me to get married because he wanted me to go through that so that I can help you out.
Come on.
You know?
Wow.
So I understand the facts might not all make sense to people, but you just have to understand that your faith is so much bigger and you can get out of anything that you feel stuck in because you're not actually stuck.
Absolutely. What comes to mind as you were sharing that is the spirit of leadership versus the leadership spirit. You have the spirit of leadership. Okay. All right. So, and I'll explain that. You're looking at me like,
I was like, I need more.
As a teaser, just, you knew, okay, but I'm not doing it just for me. That's what leaders do. They go into uncharted waters, charted waters that look like, oh my God, what am I doing here? But people who have a leadership spirit, they'll deploy or send. They don't necessarily go because their mindset is, I'm going to rule over that person instead of that situation. So that's what you have. You have the spirit of leadership. So you'll always win because that is who you are.
Thank you.
No, thank you. So thank you for going through that. Seriously. And I'm not making light of what happened.
Right.
Because you're right. I wasn't there, but you were. And for every time you cried and for every love letter that you wrote him, I call him Daddy.
Yes.
Yeah. You and Jeannie were blessed to have your daddies. I didn't. So that's Daddy.
Yeah.
For every time you said, you know what, I'm going to do this no matter what. For every time you were embarrassed or ashamed. For every time you said, oh, I quit. Those nights. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for standing. Thank you for showing us, you know what? I'm coming through this. You may not know my name, but you will remember me for the impression that I leave with you. So they will always remember.
It's all God. It's all God.
So where will the project stream or coming up for anybody that's looking for it?
For sure. So I'm submitting it to a few other festivals.
Okay.
There's guidelines to those.
Absolutely.
So,
The limit for now.
Yeah. But it will probably live on Vimeo.
Okay.
Once those festivals are over.
Okay.
Yeah.
So after all submissions and wherever needs to screen is done.
Yeah.
Okay. And then also the powerful challenge is how can you continue to take this message beyond the film and bring it into the communities? Because I know that your screenings need to happen I can name 10 places right now that would love to even sponsor a Q&A with you. So I'm just challenging you that, it's here and you're needed and your film is needed. So yeah, this whole year and into 2020, I just see it living. It's just several more premieres is what I'm saying outside of this weekend. Absolutely.
So I feel like when God told me to move back, to California, Cali, I just had this vision of a platform, and I didn't know where it was. I dreamed someday that it'll be at the Oscars. Acceptance speech. Before that, though, I dream for a following so that I can give them what God gave me, that wisdom. Right. And I'm always down to help the next queen, the next king.
Thank you.
We are all queens and kings. If you did not know, you are royalty. Know your worth. You are worthy. And I'm always down to help. So if there's a speaking engagement or, wherever I can show the film at,
Good.
I just, the point in doing the film was to inspire and help those that don't really even realize that they're being abused.
Right.
Because, like I said, it's like, if it happens every once in a while, you're like, well, it was good for the past 3 months. Right. He just had she just had a slip up.
Right.
But no, it's not okay.
I'm so glad you're saying that because that's exactly what happens.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And especially in the world that we're living in,
Yes.
Social media, the hype, you're like, just has, or it only happens when he drinks. So I'm glad that you disclosed that it happened when we're drinking and not, and that abuse has so many levels and layers and masks, so, again, we only think it's, okay, well, he slapped, he punched. No, I'm such a huge supporter and advocate, too, of just the mental abuse and where that starts. A lot of times that is even, more painful and it damages you so much. And as individuals and depending on our faith level, everybody isn't as fortunate as Dr. Tongie and Jessica Lynn Diaz to understand faith and to be patient and to read and to study and to take time to heal you. Some people, like I'm feeling like Donna in Baltimore reminds me of people, hosting clubs and being in places that people don't have that, or they don't know how to understand how to even get to that space. Yeah. Right. That's what I'm trying to say. And that's when the spiral downward happens. And when you get so down, we see, because we see the spike in suicide and substance abuse, and that's all it is just that buried levels of pain, nobody listening, nobody understanding, people talking about you, and again, you guys say the best. It's amazing the people that are closest to you, your closest friends, family. So where are you supposed to turn?
Right.
Right. Yeah, it can be very difficult for sure.
Absolutely.
For me, I honestly felt like I was alone because my mom and sister had just moved back to California, and I was in a city in Florida, kind of like further away from the friends that I grew up with. So I really felt like I was all alone. Wow. But I feel like God wanted me to be alone. Yeah. Because then I opened the book.
Look at you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So another thing that helped me get through that time is I knew if I was going to drink, I was going to get drunk, and I would probably get emotional.
Gotcha.
So I didn't even drink during this time of leaving.
Wow.
I was like, I need to be clean. I need to just, you know?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I feel like with all that, that's what helps me get through it all.
Yeah. Wow. What a discovery. Self-discovery is one of the biggest discoveries that anyone can really venture into.
Yeah.
Because when you begin to know who you really are, you know, I have to commend you for saying, you know, you do know that you are king and queens, because that's not by anything other than revelation. So, you know, we'll hear what the world says, and then every now and again you'll hear someone say, stay woke, and you're like, okay, how do you do that now? Excuse me? But you went to the Constitution, and as kingdom citizens, we have this book called the Bible, which really is our Constitution.
Yeah.
And you went to the Constitution and discovered your rights. And one of the rights was, I have a right to act like I am, which is royalty.
Yeah.
So thank you. Thank you for that discovery, you know. Absolutely. Absolutely. But he knew that you would do it. So it's okay for you to say, hey, thanks, Jessica. Because I don't want there ever to be a skew that says, I'm not supposed to do that because that's his glory. I get that. We won't share in it because we are part of it. Yeah. So it's okay to say, "Oh, look at Jessica."
Oh, I give myself props.
You better.
I brush those shoulders, Jess.
See that?
Muy caliente. Yes.
I'm so proud of the woman that I am today.
Oh,
I really am. I really am. Yeah.
How is she different from now to
back then?
Yeah.
Are we doing the 10-year challenge?
Yeah, I know. Look, like, where's your pick? You know, that's what's going on right now.
There's a 10-year challenge. I'm sorry.
Yes, on the gram. Yes. And I'm like picking pictures. Like we're doing 10 to 28. Yes, it's fun though.
You're doing this.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Yes.
Well, back then she didn't know that she could do everything she's doing now. She wasn't confident enough. She probably wouldn't have did this talk show.
Oh, come on. Really?
Yeah. And you know, I've always been somebody that does like the attention, I guess. Like, I was always on dance teams and like center of the dance floor, breaking it down, you know. But when it came to like internal, I was shy. If that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense. Absolutely.
But now, I actually can tone down the dancing and the limelight and do more of speaking and getting queens to know that they have a crown on their head.
Thank you.
You know? I don't have to straighten my hair every day because I love my curls.
All right.
You know? Things like that.
Absolutely.
Just being happy and confident in myself.
And the skin you're in.
How about that?
Yes.
How
Yes.
about that?
And then the title, You're So Beautiful. Why that? And what do you want the viewer to walk away feeling?
So the title is because, like I said, from my past relationship, I felt like I stayed in it so much because he was one of the first people to make me feel beautiful. You know, so every time he would abuse me, it was like, you know, the next day or two, it was like, oh, I'm sorry, you're so beautiful, you know? It's like, oh, well, he makes me feel beautiful.
Right.
And like, nobody else really has made me feel this way.
Wow.
So that's where the title came from.
Okay.
And what I want people to walk away with is just the knowledge of understanding that every once in a while is too many times. One time is too many times.
Thank you.
You know? So, and then just being vulnerable and able to have these types of conversations.
Absolutely.
Because it's not happening enough.
It's not.
which is
Absolutely
why I
not.
feel like I allowed it to happen to me. You know, because it wasn't being talked about
Absolutely.
constantly. And you know what? One of the biggest reasons why I really wanted to do this type of film and continue to do these types of films is as soon as I came out about it, I had DMs, text messages, phone calls from so many women.
Wow.
I got goosebumps. I kid you not, like, maybe half of the women that, you know, I really talk to or don't even talk to as much,
Right.
they reached out to me.
Wow.
Like, I've been through this too, or I'm going through this now. How can I get out? And it's, like you were saying, there's women at the bar that are just smiling, and that was me. I was smiling and happy as ever, but I was really broken.
Oh, wow.
And it's so many people are going through it, and either they don't recognize the extent of it, or they're just too scared to get out of it.
Right.
So this is for them.
Wow.
Amazing. But see, that's the kingdom, that's the ministry.
Wow.
And that was the true purpose. You just mentioned these type of projects, this type of content. Is that what your production company, do you feel that your purpose is to create content to inspire, to minister, and to help? Are these a type of projects that you will embrace and write and produce?
For sure. I actually did a few short films previous to this that were, I guess, like just getting my feet wet. Because they were more like on the comedic side. Not much of like a message behind it, just laughter, which we all need that too.
Absolutely. That was preparation.
Yeah. And I feel like all the ideas that keep going on in my head for these next projects are things like, you know, why are you homeless now? What led you to that?
Wow.
Or
wonderful.
How are we all the same? What is it that, you know, we might be different skin tones or different ages or races. We're in different countries, but what makes us all the same?
Wow.
So things like that have been like on my heart that I really want to.
Okay.
Well, you are breaking this feeling of outreach that is needed. I just know, like I said, I mean, that's just beyond music to my ears because, like I said, you hit the hot button for me when, like I said, it's beyond domestic violence month and the consistency and having the conversation continue.
Yeah.
Because can you imagine if we did this at the top of every month, how many people we're healing? Well, we know Jessica Lynn Diaz is coming, or this mission or this conversation, You're So Beautiful, is live on Facebook every month, and we've got, you know, Jessa we can talk to, or her group of survivors because she's out filming her next project. But You're So Beautiful is still on live.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So yeah.
I forgot to tell you, she's a midwife. You get pregnant with the idea. You don't even know that you've copulated to get pregnant.
You have no idea. I already know what's coming for you. Oh yeah.
And you're like, where did you get that from?
Yeah.
Wow.
No, it's done. It's so done. And I think what I love most about what you're doing, your spirit, and who you are. You have people who are speakers, and we hear things, promotions. The world we live in right now, with all of the images that stream on these things 24/7, we get confused and it gets cloudy.
Yeah.
It's very rare to hear or see somebody like you say, I am you and I've got you.
Yeah.
That's why I'm challenging you, and you're the one to do it, because that young lady that's about to walk out of North Hollywood High School, she's never seen anybody like you or met it or talk about it. She didn't have anybody to talk to.
Yeah.
You know, it's the platform. It's that month of awareness, you know, and that's not going to cut it.
No.
It's not going to do it. So, yeah. You're the one.
What a great calling. The spirit of leadership.
Well, I do feel like I am every woman,
Yeah.
you know, and so are you.
Yeah.
And so are you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep, getting it done.
So, social media, please. How can the wonderful listeners that are listening to the Dr. Tongie show, they better be listening right now. Mama Bert, that's my mother-in-law.
Hello, mother-in-law.
How can they get more of you, get more information, see what you're doing and how they can support?
Yeah, so my personal Instagram page is at Jessica Lynn Diaz, my full name. That's Jessica LYNN-DIAZ. My photography page, I do photography. I love it. Yes. That is at JLD Creates. I am out here creating.
But that's the base of your
my
film work and
gosh.
photography. That's was part of my starting too. Is everything though.
Yeah.
I mean, I always tell clients and artists that I consult, I'm like, do you know how much an image, I said, just don't post anything. I need to feel something. Like, Jeannie, you're so deep and you're so Hollywood. I'm like, no, you don't get it. If I'm sitting up at 1 a.m. and I see an image of you writing, do you know how powerful that is?
Yeah.
And depending on what your content says, it could be like, let your thoughts guide you. That is everything. That's a short film to me.
Yeah.
So don't underestimate that. So thank you for also being a photographer, and then because that is where the still is born into the the film where it breathes. So
I just love to capture beauty, even if you don't know you're beautiful. Like it could be a candid photo, and it's got so much words behind it, And then the short film, I did a Instagram page for that, and it's You're So Beautiful _film. So that's where you can find me.
Wow. Wow.
The You're So Beautiful tour.
Isn't that beautiful?
Ooh.
Isn't that? I know, right? I told you. You thought I was just kidding, didn't you?
And you a LA girl too.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm out here mentoring these girls, and they need you. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Be ready.
Talk to you at dinner. Absolutely.
We had a conversation about be ready and getting ready.
Yeah.
Be ready. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
That is absolutely amazing.
Wow. Thank you.
And so, and then what other principles, Dr. Tongie,
Oh my
can we
God.
work on this week they prepare for next
Oh,
Wednesday?
you're so good. You're so good. It will be vision. What is vision? How do you capture the vision? And whose vision are you really seeing or envisioning? Because with that vision, there will always be a seed. So you don't have to worry about where the money's coming from.
Yeah.
You just be ready with the vision. Do your part. And whatever you see, you said it yourself. I would envision, I would dream. Whatever you see, write it down.
Yeah.
And go back and look at it. And then I dare you to kind of say, you know what? I really don't know what to do with this. It's yours. And then allow him to break it and tweak it. And then say, there you go. And once that's done, someone will call your phone or go to your Instagram page and say, I've been trying to reach you. You're not even going to believe this. I got $10,000. And I want to do this with it. But God, I got this feeling in my heart. And I need to give this to you.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, you're like, oh, girl, you're not going to believe this. Someone just gave me $10,000. How do I know? Because it's happened to me over and over and over. But it will not happen until you write the vision.
Yeah.
Because now you're giving, that's your accountability. Because someone's going to read it. And they're going to be like, oh my gosh, man, I got $50. And I know it's not a lot, but would you take that 50?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can definitely testify to that because last year I wrote down that I wanted to book a national commercial,
Yeah.
and I did.
Yeah. Congratulations.
I wrote down that I wanted to do the short film, and I did.
Check.
And that I wanted it to be in film festivals, and here's the first.
Check.
So it's very true to write it down.
Thank you. Thank you
sure.
for being open, honest, and sincere. Thank you for gracing us with your presence and sharing your gifts, not only with us, but everyone who will listen to this. Thank you for being you. Thank you
for having me.
Absolutely. Jeannie?
Great energy.
Done
That's
it
great
again.
energy.
I know. Meow.
And until next time, again, thank you so very much for joining us. I love you dearly. And we'll see you next time on the Dr. Tongie Show.
Whoop, whoop.
Yes.